Howdy, howdy, ho, and welcome to Fantasy Fanfellas. I'm Hayden, producer of the Fantasy Fangirls podcast and lover of all things Sanderson.
And I am Steven, your assistant to the regional Hayden and lover of all things fantasy.
And we are here today to dive so deep into chapters 44 through 48 of Brandon Sanderson's Well of Ascension. A quick reminder, I am serving as your professor of all things Sanderson, to not only to you, dear audience, but also to Steven, because he has not read the first Mistborn trilogy before.
So this podcast will only have spoilers for the chapters we read each episode, which means if you have finished Mistborn and are just now starting Well of Ascension, this is the podcast for you.
We are also so excited to remind you that the Fantasy Fanfellas are now officially a part of the Fantasy Fangirls fan club. Now, what does that mean? Well, if you're looking for a way to directly support the show, you now have a way to do just that. So the Fantasy Fan Club is essentially the one-stop shop for all things exclusive content on the Fantasy Fangirls Media Network. And now, there's a tier specifically for Fantasy Fanfellas listeners. So for $8 a month, you get added to our close friends list on Instagram so that you can see behind the sneak peeks into what Steven and I are doing. You also get access to a private Discord community where you can connect with fellow fans and Steven and myself. Plus, you can also join us for a monthly community event. Like last week, we did a live Q&A where we did, what was it? It was Fuck, Marry, Pewter Punch or something like that.
Something like that.
And lastly, you'll get each episode a day early, and you'll get them all ad-free. So go ahead and check out the description down below to join us for all the fun.
And if you call right now, Hayden will send you a shirt that he has slept in before.
Ooh.
Little sleep sweat?
With my natural musk on it.
Yeah.
We also have Fantasy Fanfellas merch, which you can also check out in the link in the description below. Steven is wearing a t-shirt and has his mug front and center here. And also, we got a new line for Fantasy Fanfellas coming out very soon. We have the designs.
I feel like by the time this is posted, it'll already be out though, right?
It very well, actually, it should be out there. So check out the new collection.
Yes. Excited.
Okay, Steven. It is your time. Please burn your medals.
Ka-chink.
And let us know, from your perspective, what happened in chapters 44 through 48 of Well of Ascension.
Chapter 44, everybody's worried about where Vin is, but she was off murder frolicking with Mr. Insane. So later, Ellen finds Vin creepily hiding in some random corner like a demon ghost in a horror flick, and she decides she wants to go to Pastorland, aka Terrace, just before she gives some ATM to our favorite Cannibal Andra to put in his shoulder kangaroo pouch. Chapter 45, Pastor Sazed and Tyndall are debating over religion, like this is the comment section under an AI Jesus pic on Facebook. And then they discovered that someone has broken in and torn a piece off of their transcripts on every copy. Hashtag chills. Then Vin shows up abruptly like a solar panel salesman on a Saturday and gets dating advice from Sazed. And quite honestly, any advice this guy has to give, I'm frickin' listening to. And later, Ellen gets dating advice from Sazed. How cute. This would be a great time, Sazed, to tell them to meet at the laser tag this Friday and let true love blossom. Chapter 46, now we get an easy breezy POVZ, and Sazed is having a secret meeting with everyone except Ellen and Vin. And honestly, my childhood FOMO was peeking out while reading this because there was a lot of times I couldn't play with the cool kids. Also, apparently Sazed is terrible at having secret meetings. He's too obvious, like when you put your kids to bed and go into the living room, but you can hear them sneak out of their bed and play in their room, not knowing you can hear them because they don't understand the concept of sound. Anyway, the meeting is about how nobody believes they're going to survive this. That's the spirit. And they also agree they should send away Vin and Ellen. Vin is off alone contemplating her Jacob versus Edward moment, and Zane decides to go to Daddy Asshole and say he's not going to kill him anymore, despite his dad's recent attempt to kill Zane. Chapter 47, Vin and Shadow Zane are gearing up to ride into the mist together, but Vin has an epiphany. She doesn't want to go with him, so he attacks her. How wrong I was about you, Zane. And then we find out that the imposter is, oh, sure, no, say it isn't so. I never saw this coming. But he kind of helps Vin, and eventually she kills Zane through a neck stab with a fun knife. Then the imposter Cannibal Andra apologizes, and he says he has to go to his people now. Bye, I guess. Chapter 48, Vin shows up to Ellen and they embrace. And then she says yes to his marriage proposal and they freaking get married on the spot. It's so great. Then Sayzed tells Vin where he thinks the Well of Ascension is. So Vin and Ellen decide to go find the Well of Ascension and take Tyndall and Spook. Now we have a traveling posse. But apparently the map Sayzed is talking about is a fraud. What a great collection of chapters. This is where the goose gets to cook itself. You know what I mean?
We are
I feel like that's not a saying, but it should be now.
This is when there's always a moment with the Sanderlanche where you think to yourself, oh, I'm going up the roller coaster right now. This is the anticipation. And we are smack dab in the middle of it, and it's just going to be all brakes, all gas, no brakes from here.
Have you been to Six Flags in Texas and rode the Titan?
Oh. Stephen, please. Of course I have.
It's one of the greatest roller coasters ever. It's a long climb and then a long drop. I feel like we're in the drop now. We're about to go into the tunnel where the hands up.
Now, obviously, Stephen, we'll talk about this plenty whenever we get to the actual chapter, but we have been wondering who this imposter is for, I want to say, about 80% of the book so far. What was your reaction when the reveal came that it was Orsur all along?
Sometimes whenever these moments in books are revealed, I'm like, oh, I should have known. There's no way I could have known. I feel like there were no crumbs along the way, nothing. But, I mean, so Vin doesn't even know the previous Kandra. She never really had a relationship.
She spent very little time with, I mean, he was technically there at the very beginning of the book, but she wasn't friends with him at that point like she is with Tensoon.
Yeah, but, so Tensoon is the name of the new
the real name of the Kandra.
Yeah. Which is kind of like Osir. I mean, it sounds basically like their cousins or whatever. I had no idea. I was thrown for a loop. I was like, I feel like... So when I read that he was the imposter, in the back of my mind, I knew he was going to help her somehow defeat Zane because he had told her things he shouldn't have told her.
Yep.
And they developed a real relationship. I think that relationship is still real.
Yes, I totally agree. And the relationship between Vin and Tensoon is still... might be my actual favorite relationship in the entire series. What's so interesting about that moment is he figured out a way to completely subvert our expectations, to your point, in a way that we would never consider. But it makes sense because not only are Kandra great actors, but how easy would it be for a Kandra to act like a Kandra?
Right.
So
you would have no idea.
Yeah, exactly. It's just the best. I absolutely love that reveal.
Yeah, those are great plot twist. And even Zane, I mean, we're going to get into all this, like you said, but even Zane being the bad guy just shows you, just because they are, a bad guy and they're cute doesn't mean they're worth dating.
I think this is a good lesson for our romantasy girlies who are listening along with us. Just because he's mysterious, just because he's a shadow daddy, does not mean he's always the right one for you.
If it looks like a duck and walks like a duck, it's probably a duck.
Quack, quack. So it's time for my one big word for this stretch of chapters. And much like in the tradition of last episode, I can't fit all of this into one word. So I am just simply going to say, it's all coming together.
In Kronk's voice?
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
We are fully cresting, as I said, into the beginnings of the Sanderlanche. And trust me, folks, this is going to be an absolute doozy.
And we're not even done. No. There's going to be so much more. This was so great, though. And this was the end of whatever part this is, right?
The end of part 4. Exactly. Yeah, moving right into part 5. Okay, Stephen, let's don our mist cloaks and dive so deep into this set of chapters. Stephen, could you please give us the epigraph for chapter 44?
But must not even a madman rely on his own mind, his own experience, rather than that of others? Also, these epigraphs get progressively shorter as we continue these chapters.
But I think there's some intentionality behind that, Stephen, because now that the clock is ticking faster internally for us throughout this story, I almost feel like these short, cryptic epigraphs build our anxiety as we get further and further.
Yeah, I don't know if we talked about this before. There's a moment in books when it starts getting really good and you start reading faster and you can't stop and you look up and you realize it's been 3 hours. I don't know what to do now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is that moment. So he's keeping everything short because there's so much going on.
Yeah, exactly. I remember when I first, because admittedly I struggled with the middle section of this book the first time that I read it. But when I started to get to this section, I would listen to the audiobook on my walks with my dog. And by the time we got here, I would take like an hour-long walk just because I wanted to keep going. My dog was fucking exhausted by the end of it.
You're dragging your dog.
Sorry,
on the
buddy, we
pavement.
gotta keep going. So anyways, we are now in Breeze's POV. I'm pleasantly surprised by the number of Breeze POVs we get. Breeze looks on as Set's army retreats. This is bad. According to clubs, this is great for Straff. If Straff just lets the Koloss storm the city eventually, he'll be able to overtake them after the city is in ruins and find the Atium.
Yeah, and later we find out that was another plan of somebody else. I have a theory. I can save it till the end.
No, hit it with me now.
The theory is the Koloss are going to come in. And Straff is gone now, right? All of his stuff is gone?
Yeah.
You got some roamers?
Yeah.
Anyway, it's mainly Straff now. The Koloss are going to come in. The dude leading it will have had some sort of change of heart and attack Straff.
Okay, interesting. I like that. And if you remember, Elend was composing a letter for Yostes in the final chapter.
Yostes.
Yeah. So we are now in Elend's POV. Elend is receiving the summary of what happened last night. Vin killed 30 to 40% of Set's personal guard last night. And remember, he brought, I think he wanted to originally bring in 1,000 troops, but he agreed to like 500 or something like that, or a 150. So she killed a ton of people, and no one has seen her since. Ham and Spook are concerned. Vin has been erratic lately, to say the least, but Elend knows deep down she has her reasons.
I like this moment, and it comes up later when Vin, well, we'll get to it. But I like how, even despite the seemingly horrific things that she did in the back of Ellen's mind, I still trust her. I feel like she has a reason. So this is not a small thing for Ellen.
Yeah. It makes me curious about, we talked so much about Vin's insecurities around Elend and him not needing her anymore. Is it possible that what Elend has been trying to exhibit throughout this book is what a healthy relationship should look like, in that you can let each other do their own thing, and you know that what they're doing is the right thing. You just trust them implicitly. Whereas Vin, someone who hasn't had a healthy relationship before, sees that as someone leaving them alone and not needing them anymore.
Maybe. I mean, yeah. I think Elend is the more mature one, at least in this story, but he's a little bit older and he has a better past, I guess, than Vin. Vin has been effed over way too many times.
Right.
Also, I mean, there's a main trope going on. It's called the miscommunication trope between these two characters. And this is the best miscommunication trope I've ever read. Normally, it's so annoying that you want to throw the book against the wall. But this one feels more real.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And it's founded in the things that harbored that insecurity that made the miscommunication trope possible.
Yeah. This one's more relatable than just the annoying.
But you said, no, I said, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There are other reports, though, that she was potentially working with another Mistborn. And she's definitely hiding some stuff from them. Oh, and by the way, Set is gone. He left with his army because Penrod let him. And yet another development. That money that Yostes gave to the Koloss, it's literally fake. It was made out of freaking wood and then painted over with paint.
Okay, so there goes my theory about the whole they're using it for magic or whatever.
Right, yeah. It's the implication is that it purely was monetary.
Yeah. Because the Koloss considered themselves as human for some reason.
They did mention that, and we haven't really gotten any insight to what that might mean.
Which is just, it kind of goes with Brandon's just political layout, like money corrupts kind of thing.
Elend leaves to go find something to eat, and he's interrupted by none other than Orsur, who thinks that he's found Vin. Orsur takes Elend to a dilapidated place in the city. Turns out he followed Vin last night, and Vin is sitting there alone. There's a peephole in the wall overlooking the street. This was actually a thieving lair, presumably the one Cayman's crew used to use in the first book. She's struck by guilt. She killed hundreds of men last night. She tells Elend the story of her earring from her mother. Her whole life has been about death.
Whenever Ellen walks in and sees her just standing in the corner, peering through the wall, have you ever seen the Blair Witch Project?
No, I low-key want to see it, but I'm kind of scared.
It's not that scary as an adult. There's way more scary things. But at the end of the show, there's like a person just standing in the corner, and they're like, ah, and then it just fades to black. Whatever.
Yeah.
That reminded me of that.
Before we move on, I do want to ask you, what is your favorite horror movie of all time?
I hate horror movies.
Oh, but you like the Blair Witch Project.
No, I don't like it at all. I was just giving a reference.
Okay.
I mean, I was ruined by The Grudge. That was
yeah,
the good one that
and
I
wasn't
was
that
scared
like
of addicts for like 10 years.
prime time for you, like as a teenager? Is that when it came out?
Yeah.
Okay, so like you probably watched it when you shouldn't have, and then you got terrified.
Well, I'll say this. My favorite is probably some sort of M. Night Shyamalan, if we can call that a horror film.
Okay.
Like Signs, specifically.
Okay,
I love
gotcha.
that movie. Or the Sixth Sense, also great.
Yeah, two come to mind for me. I love The Conjuring. I think that's such a good movie. And also The Babadook, if anyone has seen that before on Netflix. That one's more of like an indie film, but it is horrifying.
Paranormal Activity I thought was good too. But I don't like scary things. I like sleep and happiness.
Okay. She can't be comforted. She says she has decisions of her own to make. But Ellen doesn't inquire further. He just assures her that he knows she'll make the right decisions, whatever they are. She tells him she must go north to Terrace. And she asks him if he'll go with her, but he can't. He can't leave the people of Luthadel behind. Before they leave to meet the guards waiting outside, Vin offers up the bead of ATM she got from Zane, but Ellen tells her to keep it. There's no use for it right now with the mess the city is in. If they were going to buy their way out of it, they would need a whole lot more ATM than that.
Yeah, I think that's silly on her part. She still should have kept it on her because who knows what's going to happen out there.
Yeah,
you know?
I think at some point, Vin is just kind of... She has this like self-sacrifice complex where she's like, I just want everybody else to be okay. It's not really important how I am. As long as everybody else is safe, then I'm good.
It kind of, yeah, a lot of people will identify with that. People pleasers like myself.
Yes, exactly. All right, Stephen, give us the epigraph for chapter 45.
I know what I have memorized. I know what is now repeated by the other world bringers.
Well said, Quan.
I bet you don't know what that means.
We are now in Sazed's POV. I've gotten much better at just barreling along when I need to.
Yeah, you're doing a much better job than I would. I'd be like giving everything away with my eyes and face.
Sazed and Tinwell are still doing their sexy studying, and they've been able to confirm across multiple texts that the hero of ages was known by many synonymous names across different peoples. The Rabzine and the Anonymouser. Anemone.
What's that? Finding Nemo?
Yeah.
Anemones. Oh, to be a fly on the wall, though, for this Sparks Flying Study
fascinating.
session.
I know. Well, and Stephen, you'll remember that the Anonymouser was mentioned, as well as the Rabzine was mentioned in some of the epigraphs that you read earlier in the book.
Okay. We don't know anything much more about them, though.
No, they're really just another word for the hero of ages, just from different cultures.
Gotcha.
They get into a bit of a back and forth about Sazed's musings on religion. Does he really believe any of this that he teaches? If not, then why is this whole hero of ages thing so important? And what are the odds they would be alive at the same time as the hero? And what are the odds that it's possibly Vin?
And I love how Sazed talks about all these religions. He's like paying homage to them, but while I don't know. I had some sort of epiphany that I've lost since then, but just the idea that Sazed can look on all these cultures and respect what gives them hope.
Yes.
Without judging it.
Yes, I think Sazed believes that hope is the single most important thing for the world at this point in time. Remember, things are fucking bleak. It is that Lord Ruler is gone, but honestly, things have gotten kind of worse at this point.
Yeah.
But to say, but to Sazed,
hope is never really a bad thing when you think about it.
Exactly, yeah. And to Sazed, he says, I do not know what the correct answer is when it comes to religion. I don't know if there is a God out there. However, these religions are worth being cataloged because of what they do for people.
Yeah, if it keeps it going. I mean, whatever keeps us happy in this world without just shrinking and withering away. That's what he's kind of
going for. For me,
for.
It's my sweet treats. For somebody else, it might be the Almighty himself.
I like decaf coffee and a little bit of Jesus. What's that poster? All I need is a little bit of Jesus, or a little bit of coffee and a whole lot of Jesus.
No, that's just like a home goods decoration.
I have it in there, actually. I hate the picture, but we hung it up.
That's hilarious. Tinwell believes that hope is a wonderful thing, but you cannot put all your eggs into that one basket. She still thinks there's information to be gleaned from the research of the deepness, though, that could help them now. As they resume their research, they notice something. A chunk is missing from one of the papers on all 4 copies of the inscription that they made.
I remember when we did some chill counts back in the day?
Yes.
I don't remember what episode it was, but this is my first chill reading this selection of chapters.
It's
like,
so creepy. And the fact that they talked about how like the way it was cut was the exact same. It was like perfect.
It's like a magic trick.
Exactly. The thing that was cut off, according to Tindwill, who memorized the whole inscription, was this.
I thought it was Say Zed.
No, I believe it was Tindwill.
What if you're wrong? What if this is the one time you're wrong? Google it.
Shut up, Steven.
I'm kidding. It was one or the other, listeners. Let's just go with Hayden's better judgment, I guess.
There you go. Quote, Alendi must not reach the well of Ascension, for he must not be allowed to take the power for himself.
I was trying to rack my brain, like, why would they take that? And from people, unless they didn't know that they have the copper mines or whatever, because that's what they use to track this information. It was an interesting, it's not that big a deal, seemingly.
Something or someone does not want them to know this specific piece of information.
Alendi must not reach the well of Ascension. Okay, so they don't want them to doubt that Alendi is the hero of ages, but they've allowed everything else that is doubtful.
Here's something that I'm thinking. I
You
wonder
already
if
know the
it's
answer, though.
not about the second part of the sentence, for he must not be allowed to take the power for himself. What if it's more about the first part? Alendi must not reach the well of Ascension. What if the idea that if someone read this, right, and they saw, well, Quan said this guy, whoever the hero is, must not reach the well of Ascension. And then they say, well, okay, whoever we believe is the hero of ages, we must not let them go this time. But what if whatever is tearing off this thing wants somebody to go to the well of Ascension? What if they want to be found?
I don't know. I don't know what road you're leading me down right now, and I don't trust you.
That's
okay?
the beauty
like
of
Zane right
that's
now.
the beauty of the dynamics, at least from my perspective.
Now my mind hurts because I don't know what you're doing to me.
Before they can look into it further, Vin appears. Tindwill leaves to give her and Sayzed some privacy. Vin asks Sayzed how she's supposed to know if she's in love. They talk about how she feels around Ellen, how she wants him to hold her, to talk with her. But now she's worried that he sees her as a monster. Remember, because she literally blew up some guy's face the other day.
Yeah, and to be fair, he did flinch in her presence, and there's some little things he did that led her to confirm that already existing belief she had about him.
Totally fair. And Sayzed's like, listen, girl, it was kind of gross, to be fair. Can you blame him?
You exploded ahead, okay? We're not just going to go have dinner afterward.
Yeah, it's
Let's
like
go Chipotle.
I mean, listen, the first time you fart in front of your partner, it takes some getting used to.
You're saying that like all you do around each other is fart now.
Well, I mean, we've been married for almost 4 years. Yeah, that's all we do in front of each other now.
You said that like it's a long time.
Well, I'm just saying.
We've been married almost, 12 minutes? That's what that feels
The
like.
seal has been broken, is what I'm trying to say, Steven.
Oh, God, I don't want to think about your seal being broken, buddy.
Vin thinks that she needs to leave Ellen so that he can fall in love with someone better for him. See, this is where I just start getting annoyed with Vin. I'm like, girl, come on.
Well,
Just
again,
be with
you got to
him.
get in her mind. She doesn't. She's got a lot going on. She's got a lot of trauma. She doesn't feel good enough. I can relate to that in my entire life. I don't feel good enough for many things.
Sayzed says, quote, I tell you this, Lady Vin, love must be allowed to flow both ways. If it does not, then it is not truly love, I think. It is something else. Infatuation, perhaps? In any case, there are some of us who are far too quick to make martyrs of ourselves. We stand at the side, watching, thinking that we do the right thing by inaction. We fear pain, our own or that of another.
I just go back to this is not a fantasy book. This is a self-help novel.
Yep.
I love Say Zed. I mean, I get the hype. In the beginning, you were already sold on him before he ever really did much, in my eyes at least. But now, this might be the greatest character in the book.
He's, well, what I love about him is he sees Vin so clearly. He sees exactly what she is doing to be self-destructive, and he's pointing it out very clearly, but also very gently. And the thing is, he's also talking a little bit about himself as well. Remember at the beginning of the book, he tried to listen. He tried to be a good member of his people, and he couldn't help himself but get involved. And he also has mentioned multiple times, like even in this conversation, she was like, how do you know when you're in love? And he's like, oh, I'm not the right person to ask about that because I'm a eunuch and I'm not capable of being someone who could love someone else. So like in a way, he's also talking about himself here.
Yeah, I love the that makes sense now because Sazed sacrificed what he thought he should do for what he actually wanted to do.
Yes.
I like that. And then we find that later in Vin, but we'll get to that point.
Yeah.
There's a parallel there, and I loved it.
How does it feel to tease something, Steven, for once?
It feels pretty good, even though people already know what I'm talking about. But yeah.
Vin asks, what if there's another man? One who she's supposed to be with.
Yeah, this right here.
Sazed then knows that it's true. There is another Mistborn after all. The conversation ends with Vin just accepting that she has to decide for herself.
Yeah, okay, so this right here, this is what I was talking about. So Vin basically tells Sazed, I want to be with Ellen. She uses that terminology, I want to be with Ellen, but I think I should be with Zane. But she doesn't say Zane, somebody else, whatever. And I just felt so bad for her because, I mean, my entire life, I've always done what I thought I should do based on everyone else's opinion. You could probably relate to this too. Yeah. Based on everyone else's opinion, and then finally make a decision. I'm going to finally do what I want to do, which in the back of your mind is what you think you should do anyway, but you're basing all this on everyone else's opinion.
Yeah. I will say, Stephen, the single most impactful moment of my life was when I was so deeply unhappy, and then all of a sudden, a light bulb switched in my head and it said, I can just not do this. Like it's like you're like self-actualizing in real time, realizing that you can't, there is an alternative that you can do. Some people might be upset about it, but the fact of the matter is it's the thing that you should be doing, the thing that you actually want to do if you're honest with yourself. And that is a very, very powerful thing. It's really interesting because to watch Vin, she's so close. Yeah. She's so close to finding it, but she's not quite there yet.
And she has that light bulb moment in a few chapters. But I just had a light bulb moment. I quit this podcast. And I just leave.
Yeah. By the way, Hayden, fuck you. I'm done.
No, I love doing this, man. This is my favorite thing.
Ven leaves and Tindwyl returns. But then Ellen walks in and also wants to talk to Sazed as well. So Tindwyl leaves again.
And this is like when you know in the book, okay, these two are meant to be together.
Yeah, no,
they're
exactly.
mates.
I also thought it was funny that Tindwyl is like kind of annoyed that she keeps having to leave because everyone wants to talk to Sazed.
Oh, here we go. I gotta leave again. Oh, yeah, I love it.
So Ellen now needs advice about Ven. I love how like middle school this all is. It's the best.
I mean, to be fair, they're in their early 20s.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're not middle school, but they're still figuring love out.
Yeah. This is one awkward game of relationship telephone right now. Ellen is worried about how little he understands Ven, but Sazed has some absolutely killer wisdom for him. Quote, at first glance, the key and the lock it fits may seem very different. Different in shape, different in function, different in design. The man who looks at them without knowledge of their true nature might think them opposites, for one is meant to open and the other to keep closed. Yet upon closer examination, he might see that without one, the other becomes useless. The wise man then knows that both lock and key were created for the same purpose.
I love that. When I first read the lock and key, I'm like, okay, is there a lock and key that they're talking about, that one of them has the lock, one has the key? I thought it was a literal thing, but it's just metaphorical.
Yeah. No, and again, Sazed is also kind of talking about himself here because he's gone through this same journey with Tindwyl. Go ahead.
Yes. No, I was going to say, I mean, the best advice you can give someone is something you're currently living or already lived.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not just head knowledge anymore for Sazed, which is all he has. He's living this out, and he's able to give actual wisdom.
Yeah.
I feel like, you ever seen the meme? It's Robert Redford, and he's got a big beard, and it just zooms in on his face, and he gives a slight nod. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. There's a lot of that in Sazed's mind going on right now as he's talking to both these people.
Yeah. Like, I always thought that was Zach Galifianakis, not Robert Redford.
It kind of looks like him.
It looks exactly like him, but I think you're right. It's not actually him. Anyways.
Yeah, it's Robert Redford. I forget the name of the movie, though, but the point is, that's what Sazed is doing.
It's such a great meme, yeah.
I use it all the time.
To which Ellen responds, quote, you need to write a book sometime, Sazed. That is as profound as anything I've ever read.
Pastor Sazed wrote a book. Copies are in the lobby after the service.
Yeah, and it's just like the cover is just him like standing like,
yeah,
the classic self-help pose.
Oh Lord!
Go ahead.
Lord Ruler.
Oh, Lord Ruler, that's right. Ultimately, Sazed's advice is that both Ellen and Vin just need some time. They'll work it all out eventually. After Ellen leaves and he and Ten will get back to work, Sazed contemplates the two star-crossed lovers. They're the best this world has to offer. Sazed decides that when Luthadel falls, Ellen and Vin can't be around to fall with it.
It's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out.
That's right. Stephen, please give us the epigraph for chapter 46.
The two are not the same. What does that mean? Okay, I do like the cryptic short epigraphs that he's providing in this great selection of chapters here.
Well, and remember, the last chapter we had was, I know what I have memorized. I know what is now repeated by the other world bringers. The two are not the same.
I don't know if that's in sequence, though.
I think the implication is that it is.
Fine, if you know what you're talking about, then it's the same. I was thinking maybe this person. Oh, we already knew that he's gonna get Reshek to stop him from doing the thing. Those two aren't the same as was where my mind went first.
Yeah.
I guess that's not the thing. Then.
Well, and so he was the announcer. He was the one who discovered the Hero of Ages. And so what he's saying is, I know what I have memorized. I know what is now repeated by the other world bringers. The two are not the same.
Oh, okay, the information.
Somewhere along the line, the prophecy or what is being foretold is getting twisted.
It's becoming biased
or
something.
I'm going to let you just sit on that for a minute there.
Oh,
Steve.
like a mother hen.
We are back in Breeze's POV once again. Breeze is on his way to a very interesting meeting called by none other than Sazed. We also get a quick insight into Breeze's background. We learn that he grew up in a noble court due to his full-blood noble origin.
I figured that from the way he talks and carries himself.
For sure.
He's not a scaw.
Yeah, true. When Breeze arrives, he's surprised to find only Sazed there. But slowly, all the other experienced crew members, according to Sazed, show up. Clubs, Ham, and Doxson. The beginning of the meeting is actually quite tense. The fact that Penrod is turning over the city to Straff is brought up, and Ham and Doxson get into a bit of a squabble. Everyone is stressed by the powder keg that is this standoff. Bottom line, Straff's men are acting as if they're about to withdraw, and if that happens, the Koloss will likely move on the city, slaughtering everyone.
Likely. We're assuming, Yathis did say he wants to take over the city.
Right.
With the Kolog. But I feel like he's going to have a change of heart. I don't know.
Okay.
Or he's going to get, a more fun scenario would be Ellen kills him and then takes control of the Koloss and they ride off into the mist and destroy it. I don't know.
Ellen probably has some Koloss cred now that he's killed one of them with his bare hands. Jesus Christ.
He took my horse. You had to kill him.
He took my horse. What can I do? There's no other recourse for this than murdering him in cold blood.
I picture him just telling him like John Wayne, he took my horse.
Then, once the Koloss win, but are weakened, Straff will swoop in, taking the city. Various solutions that are pointless are passed around, but Clubs comes in from the top rope and says the obvious. There's a fight coming, and we're going to defend the city and die. There's not really any other solution. Finally, Sazed speaks up. This is what must happen. They must make the sacrifice to give the Ska a chance to live on and learn how to govern themselves in the future. Giving the city to Straff willfully will undo everything they worked for to kill the Lord Ruler. Sazed has known the grisly reality for some time, but someone needs to survive to share the story of Luthadel, the people he didn't invite to the meeting. Vin, Elend, and Spook.
Now, here's the thing I don't understand
Okay.
as I contemplate this now. She went in and destroyed most of Set's army. Do they not think that she could at least, with help from their armies, destroy Straff?
That was a very small section of Set's army. Because remember, he was in Luthadel, and he only had a small number of troops with him. He has another, 45,000 outside.
That's a good point. Yeah,
so,
he's not beyond the walls.
Yeah, at that point, it's too much. There's only so much that Vin can do.
Seemingly.
Yeah, at this point, who knows?
He's the strongest character in the book.
Yeah. So, their task is simple. They have to convince them to leave the city behind. The crew gets to work on devising their plan to get Vin, Elend, Spook, and Tindwyl out. Breeze also wonders if he can get Alrienne out as well. So we're starting to see all these different people, as they know that they're about to die, they're starting to think of the people that they care about. You have Ham, who was thinking about his family. You have Sazed, who brought Tendwell into the plan so that she could get out as well. And now Breeze is thinking about Alrianne too.
Yeah, I love this. It's a dramatic moment because everyone realizes that this is probably the end, but we will not go down without a fight.
They take it on the chin, honestly. None of them are freaking out. I mean, it's impressive.
Yeah. And Sazed, he's leading all this. I like when Breeze says, I volunteer to go. Yeah. And, I'm kidding, guys. It's fine.
I know, yeah.
But they all rally together. And, I mean, some of them probably still have a little bit of hope, but they also understand the repercussions of all of this. The worst case scenario.
Yeah, and at one point I think someone says, there is a chance that things could work out. And Sazed is like, technically there is, but it's not going to happen. So we need to prepare as if we're all just going to die. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like, I don't know if I've referenced this before, but that Game of Thrones scene where Jon Snow is by himself and the army's coming at him, so he draws his sword.
Draws his sword.
He's like, I'm going to die, but I'm not going to go down.
Another great meme, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We are back in Vin's POV. Vin sits among Krennic Shaw, pondering the slaughter she did last night. She's not like Kelsier. He could have killed all those people without a second thought. That's not her. She wanders into the dark corridors of the Lord Ruler's old palace. As she contemplates the decisions ahead of her, she thinks, quote, perhaps it came down to decision. Rashek, the Lord Ruler, had been forced to make a decision too. He could have continued as he was, the pastoral villager. He would probably have had a happy life with his people. But he had decided to become something more. In doing so, he had committed terrible atrocities. Yet, could she blame him for making that choice? He had become what he thought he needed to be.
Interesting little epiphany she's going through here. She's kind of weighing all the options and trying to get in the mind of this person. I wonder if she's also speaking out of fear, because she wants to go to the Well of Ascension. She feels like she's the chosen one or the hero of ages. And maybe she's fearing, will this happen to me as well? When I'm confronted by this much power, in theory now, I'll give it up. But when I'm there and it's tangible, will I be able to give it up?
I think in Ven's mind, there's a level of selfishness or arrogance to thinking that she might be the hero of ages. She's like, imagine thinking to yourself like, oh, am I like the prophesied person who's supposed to save the entire world? Like, that sounds crazy when you first think it.
It does. Honestly, I feel like in your mind you feel that way about yourself, especially in this podcast.
With the hour a week where I get to do this, I do have an inkling of that thought.
Yeah,
but it goes away as soon as I log off, everybody, I promise.
God forbid it spreads to other facets of life. You just become a dictator in your own life.
So anyways, as she goes deeper into the palace, the thumping in her head gets louder. Her POV ends with this. On the other hand, Zane represented what she felt she had to become for the good of everyone involved. The Lord Ruler's palace held no clues or answers for her. A few moments later, frustrated and baffled at why she had even come, she left it behind, walking back out into the mists.
This was kind of a bummer visit.
Yeah.
But she thought about some stuff.
Yeah. We are now in Zane's POV, just like you wanted, Steven. Zane wakes.
Now.
Yeah. Zane wakes to an attempt on his life from Straff. He easily dispatches his 4 assassins. I mean, come on, Dad. You'll have to try harder than that if you want to kill me.
Are they Allomancers?
No, I think they're just assassins, which is...
I don't remember it being specific.
Stupid decision by Straff in that case.
Missing 4 just babies is why I was well upset.
He walks to Straff's tent, heading toward his father as Straff trembles in fear. But Zane lets him live. He says the city is Straff's and instructs him to not invade until the Koloss do their job. He also tells Straff he won't have to worry about Vin anymore because she's coming with Zane.
Yeah, this part pissed me off. I get the idea that you can't kill your father. I mean, there's still a relationship, and it says verbatim that even though his father is terrible, he still loves him. So I get that. But when he says, you can take the city, now none of this matters anymore. You're a bad person. So that was the first. I mean, I always was curious about this character. And now, in hindsight, I hate the fact that I ever wanted Vin to be with him. It was more of like a curiosity thing. But this was the first inkling of, no.
It's almost like when you think of the Shadow Daddy and the romantasy genre, there's always a backstory that explains their rough edges, essentially.
Yeah.
And deep down, they're a good guy. With Zane, it's like, no, he's a piece of shit at the end of the day.
Yeah, and you see that just real easily here. You can take the city, wait for the Koloss. He doesn't care about anybody. So there's no good thread in this moment.
Straff asks him why he isn't killing him. And to your point, Steven, Zane says, because you're my father. He turned away, looking into the mists. A man shouldn't kill his father. We have to quote this last moment as well. Quote, unwrapping the mist cloak, he withdrew the things it protected, several vials of metal and a pouch filled with beads, atium. He knelt there for a long moment. Then he reached up to his chest, feeling the space between two ribs, right above where his heart thumped. There was a large bump there. There always had been. He didn't think about it often. His mind seemed to get distracted when he did, but it was the real reason he never wore cloaks. He didn't like the way cloaks rubbed against the small point of the spike that stuck out of his back between his shoulder blades. The head was against his sternum and couldn't be seen beneath clothing. It is time to go, God said. Zane stood, dropping the mist cloak. He turned from his father's camp, leaving behind that which he had known, instead seeking the woman who could save him.
I mean, that's a cool little ending there, but what are we talking about? We don't even know.
What the hell is going on? Yeah.
Yeah. We don't know by the end of these chapters either.
Well,
and spoiler alert, we don't even know who God is.
Yeah, at this point. Yeah.
And now we won't know because he's dead.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I hate it.
Let's go through what we know, right? He's got some kind of metal pierced through his sternum.
Okay, so this is similar to an Inquisitor, Steel Inquisitor, but without the eyes.
This is the only time we've seen somebody with metal spikes in them that's not an Inquisitor.
It says near the heart. I wonder if it's through the heart.
That's a good question.
Because if it's through the heart, maybe... Because if it's through the eyes, so they see differently. It's through the heart, so maybe he feels differently.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. All right, Stephen. Give us the epigraph for chapter 47.
Alindi believes what they say.
Okay. Now let's look back to these past two chapters. Remember, Quan says, I know what I memorized about the prophecy.
Yeah.
And I also know what the other world bringers say. The two are not the same.
Them.
And Alindi believes the other people.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So he doesn't like that, obviously.
Yeah. Okay. We are back in Ven's POV, and Ven is still in a rough emotional state. She hears the thumps louder and louder and keeps glancing north toward Terrace.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that she has this pulsating thing going on, and we don't know it to this point. I mean, we know now at the end of this. We don't know at this point what it is, why it's there, having to do with the mist, seemingly.
We think, yeah. Now, I also want to point out an unintentionally hilarious quote here. Quote, and Set still lived. She couldn't even perform a proper massacre without stumbling halfway through. Gosh darn it.
That's funny. I mean, that's funny, but I mean, she did the right thing, I thought.
Ursura asks her what she's thinking about, and she just says the end. But Zane, as always, butts his big ass in. He's like, okay, time to go. Our flight leaves in 7 hours, and who knows how long security is going to take.
Yeah, we got to get there 4 hours early.
Yeah. We just got to scope out the terminal, that's all. He says, come, you can save me, Vin.
I still don't know what he means by that.
Yeah.
It has something to do with that little chest bump he's got going on.
I'm not sure, and I've always interpreted it as like an emotional thing, just as like he can be his companion.
Yeah, because he's always talked about how he's tired of being used, and he's leading Vin along the same path of thinking that she's being used by Ellen. Maybe he's tired of that. Because he's leaving for good. He doesn't want to do this anymore.
Right. As he starts to pull her by the wrist, she makes her decision. She can't leave Ellen because he trusts her. Even through all of the mess that has been the previous day, he trusted her, and he loves her. Zane does not take this well at all. If Vin can't be with him, then she can't be with anyone. As Zane bats her around using ATM, Vin calls out the secret code for Ursura to leap into action. But he doesn't. What's going on?
Well, to back up just quickly, this is her light bulb moment.
Yeah.
I don't want to go with you.
Yeah.
I want to go with Ellen.
This is my answer. Final answer.
This is her awakening. She's not going to do what she thinks she should do. She doesn't think he's a bad guy at this point.
Yeah.
But she doesn't want him. She wants Ellen.
Yeah. So anyways, then Zane says, Chandra, come to me. This is where it's just like, what is going on?
Yeah, I don't like this part at all. But it's also awesome and fun.
Yeah. Zane tells Vin that Ursura will no longer obey her orders and calls him Tensoon. He's been Zane's Chandra all along. Ursura is the imposter. Tensoon killed Ursura on the day that Vin ordered him to become a wolfhound because if you remember, He had to go. She had to go away for a little while he ingested the bones, and then when it was sure, Tensoon.
So he killed the Khandra.
He killed the Khandra because they can't.
Because of a contract. You can kill each other? That's what bothered me.
Yeah, you can't kill humans, but Khandra are fair game, apparently. Vin is helpless against Zane now that she has no support. He's kicking her ass, basically.
Yeah, and it's very descriptive and well written on this part.
Oh, yeah. But Vin has an idea. What if she calls upon the mist like the night that she killed the Lord Ruler? She tries it, but nothing happens, as always. We also get a mini evil villain confession from Zane. All that effort wasted, he hissed, hiding Owlmancers among Set's hirelings so that you would suspect him of attacking you at the assembly, forcing you to fight in front of Ellen so that he'd be intimidated by you, pushing you to explore your abilities and kill so that you'd realize exactly how powerful you are. Yeah. All wasted. So if you remember, we were very confused about who sent the assassins to the assembly.
He did that.
He did that. But now I feel better about it because I think we both were just like, there's just not something's not right here. It doesn't make sense what the story is that's being told.
Yeah, yeah. But he's been manipulating Vin the entire time for his own personal gain.
Yep.
Also, this is a quick thought. The Steel Inquisitors, right? They have a rod in their back. It's projecting out of their spine or back, whatever. If I go back to the description of whatever was in Zane, was it similar to that?
Essentially, it said it was like the tip of the spike came kind of back out through his sternum, and the flat side of it is the part that like barely protrudes from his chest.
I wonder, is it similar to the Steel Inquisitors?
It is similar, based on that description.
I wonder if she could have just pulled that and he'd die.
Oh, yeah, potentially, yeah.
That goes with my theory that he may not be a Steel Inquisitor, but he's something like it. I don't know. This is an interesting parallel there.
Yeah. As Zane looms over her, about to kill her, Tensoon calls out. She knows, Master, Tensoon said. She knows our secret. The reason why we served the Lord Ruler. The reason why we served the contract. She knows why we fear Owlmancers so much. This is a secret message for Vin. It gives her an opening, permission for her to use Owlmancy on Tensoon. And she gives him a forceful soothe with Duralumin.
Yeah, I love that. Because like I said earlier, I felt whenever Tensoon did this, we found out that he was Tensoon. I still figured that relationship they built was real and he would help in some way, but he helped in the only way he could. He can't kill this guy.
Yeah, exactly. Tensoon knocks Zane off of Vin, and Vin dislodges the bead of atium from his shoulder. Now, they're on an even playing field. But goddammit, the atium was fake.
Which is weird because it had a small amount of atium. It was
the single bead that he gave to her.
She felt the effects for a split second, was excited, and then...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Vin now needs to stall and hope that his own atium runs out. And this next exchange brings us one of my favorite quotes in the entire series. "You've been playing with me," she said. "You drove a wedge between me and Elend. You made me think he feared me, made me think he was using me." "He was," Zane said. "Yes," Vin said, "but it doesn't matter. Not the way you made it seem. Elend uses me. Kelsier used me. We use each other for love, for support, for trust. Trust will kill you," he said. By the way, sounds an awful lot like Reen.
Oh, yeah. That's why he said, because there's keep going, and I'll tell you in a second.
"Then it is better to die."
Oh, because you said he's like Reen because she even says a few quotes from Reen to Zane, and he says... He's a smart guy then.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same person. And wow, you're drawing parallels again. So she had this bond with Reen, even though he was toxic and beat her and his words were in her head all the time. This is the same person.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe that's why it was enticing to her, because it's what she knew.
Yeah.
So therefore she thought she should chase this person that is really the ghost of her past.
That logic jives with what she was taught for so long. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh,
it's so good.
And I love how she has another epiphany of, I'm used, but I also use, and we use each other in this unit.
Yeah.
It's not I'm being used and you don't have to do anything that kind of used. It's a collaboration effort.
Exactly.
And he can't understand that.
Yeah. Zane runs to her with a knife, ready to kill. Vin has an idea, though. She closes her eyes, waiting. And at the last moment, she opens them and attacks, which Zane reacts to. But because this is all split-second decision-making, Vin lets her body react to his reaction. And
this is brilliant. I love this.
It's so good. They both stab each other. Zane in her shoulder, her in his windpipe. Zane is defeated.
Yes. So break it down for us dumb people. Exactly what happened. Okay, so ATM allows you to see different variations of your future actions, right?
It allows you to see what your opponent is going to do in the future.
Yes. So that's what happens. And then normally you can't really change what you're going to do. It's just one of those options. But Vin saw that he reacted to an option that she hadn't thought of yet.
Yes.
Therefore, she could switch real quick and kill him.
Yeah, she's like, oh, maybe if I just allow my body to react instead, that will help me. And there's actually a quote later here that I'll just go ahead and pull this up now. This is when she's explaining it to Tensoon later. When you see a few moments into the future, you can change what will happen in that future. Grab an arrow that should have kept flying, dodge a blow that should have killed you, and move to block an attack before it happens. He showed me what I was going to do. I couldn't change the future, but Zane could. By starting to counter my attack before I even knew what I was going to do, he inadvertently showed me the future. I reacted against him, and he tried to block a blow that never came. That let me kill him.
I love that. I'm going to do another prediction now. I feel like this is going to happen again in book 3.
Oh, interesting. Ooh, okay.
She's going to run out of ATM, but remember that she's done it before.
Yeah.
Assuming she is alive at the end of book 3.
Yeah, at this point, nobody's off limits.
Yeah.
Okay, we are now in Zane's POV. If Zane could speak now, he'd tell Vin why he thought she could save him. Because she was the first person he didn't hear the voice around.
Yes.
We hear God respond. Of course I didn't tell you to kill her, God said. Zane felt his life seeping away. You know the really funny thing, Zane, God said? The most amusing part of all this? You're not insane. You never were.
I don't know what to do with this, Hayden. Does this come up again?
I don't know.
This is so cool, though, because I can't tell if it's just his own mind fighting with whatever's shoved in his chest.
Right, it could be. Yeah, it could be.
It could be himself, and then to that's just like God.
And he's dying, too. That's the other thing. It's like, who knows what kind of thoughts go off in your brain as you're dying.
I would like to know more. Don't leave me hanging, Brandy Sandy, on this one thing that's been bothering me through the whole freaking book, if you remember. I want to know who this God is.
Right.
Is it him? Is it a God? Is the one, because Sazed has talked about religion so much, I don't know if any of them are true. Are we leading toward the one true God? What's happening?
Well, and let's think about it this way, too. Let's just take, quote, God's words at face value, right?
Okay.
Let's say he's telling the truth. The implication is, Zane, you have never been insane. That means that somebody is talking to you, that there is somebody out there.
Okay.
It's not just a voice in your head that's not actually somebody. There's somebody communicating with you.
Yes. And I wonder, I'm assuming there's a okay. I'm going to say this. There's a parallel between the epigraphs of this book and this God character. I'm going to throw that out there.
Oh, okay.
There's a connection of some kind.
Can you expand on that any?
No, I can't.
Okay.
It's just
an
blossoming,
inkling.
and I have no language for it.
Okay.
But I'm just vaguely, I'll be you for a second. I'm going to vaguely connect the two.
Okay.
Okay? So the epigraphs and God.
Cool.
That's an easy one to win or not win. This is so vague.
Yeah, all you have to do with your predictions is make them as vague as possible, so you can claim victory on any of them.
Yeah.
Basically.
I'll be like, something's going to happen.
Yeah.
Period.
All right, we are now back in Vin's POV. Vin watches Zane die, then runs to Tensoon, who is broken from Zane kicking him. Vin tells Tensoon to take Zane's body. She wants him to be okay. I also, by the way, I love how concerned for Tensoon Vin is in this moment, even though he betrayed her.
Well, I think she was able to recognize the reality of their their relationship, and that he helped her defeat Zane. So he didn't betray her in that sense. He was on contract, and her, with her understanding of the contract, just lets her know this is real.
Yes.
And he's on my side.
And he gave her permission to hurt him in order to save her life as well. That's the other thing, too.
Yeah.
Tensoon doesn't want to claim Zane's bones, though. He says Zane was too broken. But unfortunately, the contract is over, so Tensoon must report back to his people. He's sorry, but he has to go. With that, the two say goodbye. Vin leaves, and her wounds definitely need tending, but the chapter ends with this, quote, everything was collapsing around her. She couldn't manage it all, couldn't keep things straight, but she did know what she wanted, and so she ran to him. Chill count. That's number one.
That's a
for
good
me.
one too. Oh man, it's interesting. She didn't really know what she wanted before.
Yeah.
But when you find out what you really don't want, it kind of helps you uncover what you do want.
Yeah, exactly. And
in this sense,
I think it's almost like this haze is lifted over her, and she's seeing Zane for who he really is.
Yeah. She's had this Jacob versus Edward moment the whole time, trying to pick. Because there's a part of her that wanted to go with Zane, sure, but she also really wanted to go with Ellen. She thought she should. But when you find out, okay, this is wrong over here, I know that, but that means this is probably right.
Well, and think of the two different tactics that we have from the two people. Zane was like hard pressing Vin. He's like, I need you. I want you. Please go with me. Please, 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 please. Yeah. Ellen is like, I trust you to figure this out. And he applies the same logic to her as he does to the people of Luthadel. He's like, they will make the right decision. And if it's not me, then I just have to live with that.
Oh my gosh. There's so many epiphanies I'm having in this book. So Zayden represented the I need you.
Yeah.
Hayden, you're Hayden. Ellen represented the I don't need you, but I want you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's no like I need to lean on you, this kind of thing. We need each other. We want each other.
Yeah.
We could do life alone, but we don't want to. Does that make sense? I feel like the toxicity of the need is talked about with Zane, and then the positivity of just the want in general.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and it's like I think Zane in a way kind of represents the same jealousy and like power hunger that the Lord Ruler had. Basically, it was like, I want you on my terms.
Yeah. Need in this case was selfish.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Stephen, give us the epigraph for chapter 48.
Oh, can we go back a second?
Yeah.
I want to actually ask a question about Tensoon, because before there's a law about the contract. If you break a contract, you'll be sacrificed or killed by your own people.
Yeah.
Can we say he didn't break the contract in this scenario because he didn't kill anybody? He just kind of like eyebrows to somebody?
That's the weird thing, right? Because I think he could argue that he did not break the contract because, one, he did not act on his master of his own volition, because like Vin was technically controlling him. All he did was say something.
Yes. And he could say, I was trying to protect him because she knows this somehow.
Exactly.
Okay. I don't know if he's going to be like that, though. I hope he doesn't die.
I'm not sure.
I really still like this character.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm not sure. All right, Stephen, give us the epigraph for chapter 48.
He is a good man, despite it all. He is a good man, a sacrificing man. In truth, all of his actions, all of his deaths, destructions, and pains that he has caused have hurt him deeply. All of these things were a kind of sacrifice for him. Are we talking about the newest, like the previous Lord Ruler now?
No, I think my guess is we're talking about Alendi still, because remember, there's mention of how he was a conqueror as well. Like he took over much of the world. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, even Ellen has this. Everybody has their flaws.
Yeah, but even like, imagine how easy it would be for her to be like, have blinders on about Kelsier and see like he could not do any harm. But she sees him for what he was. Still a good man, but someone who had certain problematic deficiencies.
That's all of us, buddy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I kill people and leave them on people's lawns all the time.
I don't mean that. I mean, like, we're all flawed in many ways, but at the end of the day, most of us try our hardest to be good people.
Yeah, but it's so good because this is like, they're finally coming together. They finally get it.
The miscommunication is over, and now we can ride into the mist.
Yeah. Oh, God. That sounds less romantic than riding us off
right into the sun mist.
Then she asks Sazed to marry her and Ellen. Oh, my God! Sazed gives a very simple ceremony to wed them. Quote, I have known you both for some time and am willing to give my blessing to this union. I simply offer counsel. Those who take lightly promises they make to those they love are people who will find lasting satisfaction in life. This is not an easy time in which to live. That does not mean that it has to be a difficult time to love, but it does mean that you will find unusual stresses upon your lives and your relationship. Do not forget the love oath you made to each other this evening. It will give you much strength in the days to come, I think.
Brandy Sandy, you freaking word wizard, you wisdom wizard.
Does it make you think of your wedding, like reading through this scene?
Sure.
Okay.
No, my wedding was not 5 seconds long, but I like what they're talking about, yeah.
No, it's just nice.
It is nice. This beautiful terms here. I like the fact that right before he does do the ceremony, both of them are like, "You sure about this? You're covered in blood, and you just literally killed someone." And says something like, "Your emotions are heightened. I feel like this is not a good time." And Vin says something along the lines of, "What do you mean? Emotion has nothing to do with love? It's not. This is not a weekend. I'm not drunk. It's not a weekend in Vegas.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm in love, sir. Marry us." And then he does it. Oh, I love it.
After that's done, Sazed, unbeknownst to Vin and Elend, starts to try to convince them to leave for the Well of Ascension, away from the city. After some convincing, it's decided. Elend and Vin will go to Terrace to find the well. We are back in Sazed's POV. The chapter ends with a quick inner monologue from Sazed. Quote, "How history judged him would probably depend on what Elend and Vin did with their lives. Sazed could only hope that he had done the right thing. Watching them go, knowing that their youthful love would live on, he couldn't help but smile at his decision. With a sigh, he stooped down and gathered up his medical items, returning them to their places. Then he began to fabricate the map he had promised Vin and Elend."
Okay. When he smiled, I just go back to that meme of that nod from
It's
Robert
so
Redford.
good.
But also the terminology, I don't know if this means it's fake, because fabricate gives off the idea that it's not real. So he's going to make something up to get him because he has no idea where it is.
Well, I think that's the implication is he's like, okay, I know that Vin is desperate to get to the Well of Ascension, and I've been doing all this studying for the past week. And so what I can tell her is I know exactly where it is, and I'm going to just put a fucking X on the spot in the map and say, this is where it is. And then by the time they realize that it was a lie, it'll be too late.
Yeah, that's messed up, Sazy boy. I will say we skipped over this part. We get to hear a little bit about the thumping that Vin feels. Remember that? The pulsing?
Yes.
And she believes that it's the Well of Ascension calling to her.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's basically like a Find My iPhone with a broken screen. I don't know where it is, but I know it's going off right now.
And she says at one point, she's like, she kept expecting to look to the north and see like this explosion of power indicating like, oh, here's the Well of Ascension.
Yeah,
But all she has is the thumping.
And she has the mist creature or whatever.
But has that really indicated to her in any
Not
way
really,
where it might be? Yeah.
No, but we didn't have this understanding of what the thumping is until just in this moment, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So she puts two and two together, and she's hoping that this map, it may not be the exact spot, and she may think that, but she's hoping that as the closer they get, the more she'll feel it.
Yeah, I mean, you would think at the very least, it's like, just get us there generally, and we can find it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Steven, it is time for our winners and losers of the week.
Okay. I'm going to say, and I feel like we have the same ones now that I'm reading yours. My winner is Vin because she got what she wanted rather than what she thought she should want. And it's not a small thing. She also killed freaking Shadow Bitch. I'm going to call him that now. The Shadow Bitch. You're no longer daddy in my eyes. I'm so offended and upset with myself. Shame. You ever seen Game of Thrones?
Oh, yeah. Shame.
Can I bring this up again?
Shame.
Shame. Anyway, so Vin, you win, my friend. That whole rhymed kind of. My loser, obviously, is Zane the bitch. My old Shadow bitch. Just because he's a mysterious bad boy doesn't mean he's a good guy. Okay?
Yeah.
I took the bait.
All right, cool. Well, you're totally right. We had the same winners and losers. I'm going to go a little bit of a different direction with Vin because she killed someone without using ATM. And that is something that no one has been able to do to this point, we think, in history. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, she even asked O Spoon, what's his new name?
Oh, Spoon. Or Sir.
Or Sir, what's his new name, though?
Tensoon.
Tensoon. That's close. Or Spoon. That's his new nickname for me because you can spoon things out of him.
Yeah.
Anyway, or Spoon. She asked him, and he said, I don't know.
Yeah, true. Okay. My loser is Zane as well, just because he just did not take rejection well at all.
This is why people are afraid to say, this is why you get breakup texts.
Yeah, I just like to be friends, personally.
This could have been an email.
Okay. All right, Steven, please give us your predictions for the next stretch of chapters.
Okay, I'll just say I hope, I don't know if it's a prediction, it better be, but I hope we find out who God is. And I've gave several predictions so far in this episode, but I'll also say the Blue Man Group attacks Straff's army because Yazdiz has a change of mind. Also, I think Spook is going to die by going out as a hero.
Ooh.
Because he is going with Tyndall and Ellen and Vin to the Well of Ascension.
Okay. Interesting.
I just feel like he's a character that will die by self-sacrifice.
Okay, everybody, that is it for episode 8 of our deep dive of Well of Ascension. Thank you all so much for tuning in this week. And let me tell you, you got to tune in for these last 2 episodes because the Sanderlanche is here.
Also, please be sure to give us a 5-star rating and review on your podcast platform. It truly helps us get the word out and make this possible. And give us a follow on Instagram and TikTok at Fantasy Fanfellas.
And we would also like to give a big, big thank you to the folks who have signed up for the Fantasy Fan Club within the last week. Steven, if you could please take it away.
We have Angelique D, Danielle H, Taylor C, Melissa C, Joseline E, Shelby M, and Michelle B. Thank y'all so much. It's really appreciated. We love it.
And lastly, if you loved this episode and you have another friend of yours who got stabbed in the boob, this is an excellent episode to share with them. Okay, see you all next week for chapters 49 through 54. Bye!
Ka-chink.